The silk sheets felt like chains against Naomi's skin as she sat rigid on the edge of the massive bed. The bedroom door clicked shut behind the twins. "You will have both of us tonight," Min-jun had said, his voice cold as winter steel, and those words echoed in her mind like a death sentence. 6 months ago, Naomi's biggest worry had been submitting her graduate thesis on time. 6 months ago, she'd been a normal 24-year-old woman living in Los Angeles, working 2 jobs to support herself through school, video chatting with her mother every Sunday morning over coffee. 6 months ago, her world made sense. Then her mother collapsed at the grocery store. Naomi could still see the hospital's fluorescent lights flickering above her as the doctor delivered the news with practiced sympathy. Rare heart condition. Immediate transplant needed. Experimental surgery required. $2 million. Insurance wouldn't cover it. Her mother had maybe 6 months without intervention, maybe less. She'd spent 3 desperate weeks researching every option, calling every charity, setting up crowdfunding pages that barely scraped together $5,000. She'd been sitting at her laptop at 2 in the morning, tears streaming down her face as she looked at her mother's medical bills, when the knock came at her apartment door. 2 men in immaculate black suits stood in the hallway like something out of a movie, beautiful in an almost dangerous way, identical except for the coldness in one's eyes versus the warmth in the other's. "Miss Jenkins," the warmer one had said, his Korean accent softening his English. "My name is Kang Min-ho. This is my brother, Min-jun. We'd like to discuss your mother's situation." She should have slammed the door. She should have called the police. Instead, she'd let them into her cramped studio apartment because desperate people do desperate things, and they'd known everything. Her mother's condition, the cost, the timeline, even the name of the specialist in Switzerland who could perform the surgery. "We can have your mother in surgery within 24 hours, Min-ho had said, sitting on her threadbare couch like it was a throne. "The best cardiac team in the world. Full recovery guaranteed." "Why would you do that?" Naomi had whispered, her mind screaming that nothing in life was free. "What do you want?" Min-jun had leaned forward, his dark eyes intense. "You. One of us wants to marry you. We both do, actually. But only one of us can have you. Come to Seoul and you'll choose." She'd laughed. Actually laughed because it was so absurd it had to be a joke. But they hadn't laughed with her. "Our organization requires expansion into Western markets," Min-jun had explained with controlled precision. "An American wife provides legitimacy, connections, and cover for our business operations. We've been searching for the right person. You're intelligent, educated, and most importantly, you need us as much as we need you." "That's insane," she'd said. But her voice had cracked because she was already thinking about her mother's labored breathing, the way her skin had gone gray in that hospital bed. Min-ho had leaned forward, and his eyes had held genuine sympathy. "Your mother will die without this surgery, Miss Jenkins. We both know that. We're offering you a choice. Marry one of us and she lives. Full recovery. The best care money can buy for the rest of her life." "Why both of you?" Naomi had asked, her mind reeling. "Why not just one?" "Because we both want you," Min-jun had said bluntly. "We saw your photo, read your file, and we both knew. So we agreed to let you choose. 3 months in Seoul. Get to know us both. Then decide." Naomi had visited her mother that night, standing beside the hospital bed, watching the steady beep of the heart monitor. Her mother had been unconscious, medically induced coma to preserve her failing heart. Naomi had held her hand and remembered every sacrifice this woman had made for her, raising her alone after her father left, working 3 jobs to send her to good schools, never once complaining, always smiling, always saying everything would be okay. "I can't let you die, Mom," Naomi had whispered, tears falling onto the sterile white sheets. "I won't." She'd signed the contract in a private room of the hospital with the twins watching. The words had blurred together, legalese about marriage and obligations and terms, but the only thing that mattered was the clause that guaranteed her mother's care. Within 2 hours, her mother was being airlifted to a private medical facility. Within 6 hours, Naomi was on a private jet to Seoul, Her entire life packed into 2 suitcases. Now she sat in this bedroom, waiting, terrified of what having both of them tonight meant. The door opened again. Min-jun entered first, his expression unreadable, followed by Min-ho, whose face showed concern. "I need to know something," Naomi said, surprised by the steadiness in her voice. "Are you going to hurt me?" Min-ho's expression shifted to shock. "What? No. God, no. Is that what you think?" "You said I'd have both of you tonight," Naomi said, standing up on shaking legs. "You bought me, paid $2 million like I'm some kind of object. What am I supposed to think?" Min-jun's jaw tightened. "We phrased that poorly. You're exhausted and probably terrified. That's our fault." "Then explain it to me," Naomi demanded, her fear transforming into anger because anger was easier to handle. "Explain why 2 wealthy, powerful men need to compete for a desperate woman. Explain what you really want from me." Min-ho walked over and gestured to the sitting area. "Please sit. Let us explain properly." Naomi remained standing, arms crossed defensively. Min-jun poured 3 glasses of whiskey from the bar in the corner. "The truth is complicated," Min-jun began, handing her a glass. "Our organization operates in gray areas. Import, export, information brokerage. Some of it legal, most of it not. We've built an empire in Korea and throughout Asia, but expanding into Western markets requires legitimacy. An American wife makes you look legitimate," Naomi finished, taking a long drink of the whiskey. It burned going down. "Yes," Min-ho said gently, "but it's more than that. Our world is dangerous. We have enemies who would use any weakness against us. A wife who appears devoted, who can navigate both our world and Western society, who's intelligent enough to be an actual partner, that's invaluable. So I'm a business asset that you're both fighting over." "You're a woman we both want," Min-jun corrected, his voice dropping lower. "When we researched candidates, your file stood out. Your intelligence, your determination, your loyalty to your mother. Then we saw your photo and we both knew we wanted you. Not just for business. For ourselves." Naomi looked between them, seeing the truth in their eyes. Min-ho's gaze was warm, almost pleading. Min-jun's was intense, possessive. "This is crazy. You don't even know me." "That's what the 3 months are for," Min-ho said. "Get to know us. Let us get to know you. Then choose which one of us you want to marry. If you can't choose either, the contract allows you to walk away after 3 months, and your mother's care continues regardless." "You're saying this is actually my choice?" "Yes," they said in unison. Min-jun walked closer, and Naomi's breath caught at the intensity radiating from him. "But I should be clear about something. I don't lose. I don't give up. And I will fight for you with everything I have." "As will I," Min-ho said, moving to her other side, though perhaps with more charm and less intimidation. Despite everything, Naomi almost laughed. "You're actually competing for me, like some kind of twisted reality show." "There's nothing twisted about wanting you," Min-jun said quietly, and the way he looked at her made heat flood through her body. "What happens tonight?" Naomi asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Tonight you rest," Min-ho said gently. "You've had an impossible day. Tomorrow we'll show you your mother's progress, show you around the compound, and start getting to know each other properly. Nothing happens that you don't want to happen, Naomi. You have my word." "Mine too," Min-jun added, though his expression suggested he wanted very much for things to happen. They left, and Naomi collapsed onto the bed, her body shaking with exhaustion and relief and a dozen other emotions she couldn't name. Her mother was alive. That was all that mattered. And somehow, she'd ended up with 2 dangerous, beautiful men competing for her heart. She should have been terrified. Instead, she felt something dangerously close to anticipation. The next morning, Naomi woke to find a note slipped under her door. Min-ho's handwriting, neat and careful. "Breakfast on the terrace. I'd love to show you the garden afterward. MH. Before she could process that, her phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number that had to be Min-jun. "Your mother is awake. Video call at 10 a.m. I'll be in the study if you want company. MJ. So it was starting already. The competition. Naomi showered and dressed in clothes she found in the closet. Designer pieces in exactly her size. Someone had done their research. She chose a simple dress, tied her hair back, and tried to calm her racing heart. Min-ho was waiting on the terrace, morning sunlight making him look almost ethereal. He stood when he saw her, pulling out a chair with old-fashioned courtesy. "Good morning. Did you sleep?" "Eventually," Naomi said, sitting down. The breakfast spread was elaborate, traditional Korean dishes alongside Western options. "This is too much food. I wasn't sure what you liked, so I ordered everything." Min-ho smiled, and it was genuinely warm. "Tell me about yourself, Naomi. Beyond what was in your file. What do you want to know?" "Everything. What makes you laugh? What makes you angry? What do you dream about?" His interest seemed genuine, and Naomi found herself relaxing slightly. "I laugh at terrible puns. I get angry at injustice, at people who use their power to hurt others. I used to dream about changing the world through business, using capitalism for good somehow. Naive, probably. Not naive. Idealistic. There's a difference." Min-ho poured her tea with careful attention. "I think idealism is brave. It means you still believe things can be better." "What about you? What makes Min-ho tick?" He considered the question seriously. "I laugh at absurdity, at the gap between who we pretend to be and who we really are. I get angry at waste, at potential squandered. I dream about a life where I don't have to constantly look over my shoulder, where the people I care about are safe." "That sounds lonely." "It has been," he admitted. "Until now, maybe." Before Naomi could respond, Min-jun appeared at the terrace entrance. "It's almost 10. Your mother's call." The spell broke. Min-ho's expression shifted, becoming more guarded. "Of course, I'll give you privacy." "Actually," Naomi said, making a split-second decision. Min-jun said he'd keep me company. "Maybe you both should be there? If I'm supposed to get to know you, you should meet my mother too." Both men looked surprised. Min-jun recovered first. "If that's what you want." The study was all dark wood and leather. Min-jun set up the video call on a large screen, and suddenly her mother's face appeared, healthy color in her cheeks, eyes bright with life. "Sweetheart." Her mother's voice was strong. No more labored breathing. "Oh my God. Look at you. Where are you?" "Seoul, Mom. I'm in Seoul." Naomi's voice cracked with emotion. "How are you feeling?" "Like I got a second chance at life. These doctors are miracle workers." Her mother's eyes shifted, noticing the two men standing behind Naomi. "And who are these handsome men?" Naomi's cheeks heated. "Mom, this is Min-jun and Min-ho Kong. They arranged your surgery. They helped us." "Helped?" Her mother's sharp eyes missed nothing. "Baby, what did you do?" "I made a choice to save your life," Naomi said firmly. "That's all that matters." Her mother studied the twins for a long moment. "Which one of you is my daughter involved with?" "That's still being determined, ma'am," Min-ho said with a charming smile. "We're hoping she'll choose me." "You're hoping wrong," Min-jun interjected smoothly. "Mrs. Jenkins, your daughter is remarkable. We're both honored to know her." Naomi wanted to die of embarrassment, but her mother was smiling. "Well, at least she has good taste. You take care of her. You hear me? Both of you. She's sacrificed everything for me her whole life. She deserves happiness. We intend to give her exactly that," Min-jun said, and the promise in his voice made Naomi shiver. After the call ended, silence filled the study. Naomi stood, needing distance from both of them to process everything. "Your mother seems wonderful," Min-ho offered. "She is. She's everything to me." Naomi turned to face them. "Which is why I need you both to understand something. I came here for her. I'll marry whichever one of you I choose because that's the deal. But don't expect love. Don't expect anything beyond what the contract requires." "You say that now," Min-jun said, moving closer. "But 3 months is a long time. Things change. People change. Not me. We'll see." His hand came up, almost touching her face but not quite. The near contact was somehow more intimate than actual touch would have been. I'm very persuasive when I want something, Naomi. And I want you. He left, and the air felt easier to breathe. Min-ho approached more carefully. Don't let him intimidate you. Min-jun comes on strong, but his bark is worse than his bite. Is it? Naomi challenged. He seems like the kind of man who gets exactly what he wants. Usually. But you're not a business deal. You're a person. That's going to be difficult for him. Min-ho offered his arm. Come on. Let me show you the garden. No pressure, no competition. Just a walk. Naomi took his arm, and they stepped out into morning sunshine. The garden was breathtaking, traditional Korean landscaping mixed with modern elements. Koi ponds reflected the sky, cherry trees promised future blooms, and stone paths wound through carefully manicured spaces. This is beautiful, Naomi breathed. My mother designed it, Min-ho said quietly. Before she died. Min-jun and I keep it maintained exactly as she left it. It's our way of holding on to her. I'm sorry you lost her. It was a long time ago. We were 16. But you never really get over losing a parent, do you? He looked at her. Which is why what you did for your mother, the sacrifice you made, I understand it completely. They walked in comfortable silence for a while. Min-ho didn't push conversation, didn't try to impress her. He just existed beside her, and somehow that was more appealing than any grand gesture could have been. Can I ask you something? Naomi said finally. Anything. Why me? Really? You're both wealthy, powerful, could have anyone. Why compete over someone like me? Min-ho stopped walking, turning to face her fully. Someone like you? Naomi, you gave up everything for love. Your freedom, your future, your choices. That kind of loyalty, that kind of love, it's rare. Especially in our world where everything is a transaction. You're real in a way most people aren't. That's why we both want you. But you barely know me. Then let me know you. He stepped closer, his hand coming up to gently touch her cheek. Give me a chance to show you that I'm worth choosing. No pressure, no manipulation. Just honesty. Naomi's breath caught. This close, she could see the gold flecks in his dark eyes, smell his cologne, feel the warmth radiating from him. Min-ho, there you are. Min-jun's voice cut through the moment like a knife. He approached with controlled strides, his expression neutral but his eyes sharp. Grandmother wants to meet Naomi. Now. Min-ho stepped back reluctantly. Of course. Let's not keep her waiting. The walk back to the main house was tense. Naomi could feel the competition between them crackling in the air, unspoken but intense. Two predators circling the same prize. The grandmother waited in a formal receiving room, a small woman with an iron spine and eyes that missed nothing. She examined Naomi like a general assessing a soldier. So you're the American, she said in accented English. The one my grandsons are fighting over. Yes, ma'am, Naomi said, refusing to be intimidated. Do you love either of them? The blunt question caught Naomi off guard. I just met them yesterday. That's not what I asked. Naomi met the old woman's gaze steadily. No, I don't love either of them. I'm here because they saved my mother's life. That's all. Honest. Good. The grandmother gestured for her to sit. Let me tell you something about my grandsons. Min-jun is like his grandfather, my late husband. Cold, calculating, gets what he wants through strategy and intimidation. But underneath, he feels everything too deeply. It's why he guards his heart so fiercely. She paused, sipping tea. Min-ho is like my son, their father. Warm, charming, easy to love. But he's also fragile in ways Min-jun isn't. He needs to be needed. He needs to be chosen. Why are you telling me this? Because whichever one you don't choose, you'll break. And I need to know you understand that. This isn't a game. These are my grandsons' hearts you're playing with. Anger flared in Naomi's chest. I'm not playing with anything. I didn't ask for this situation. They came to me, remember? They set up this competition. If anyone's heart breaks, that's on them, not me. The grandmother smiled approvingly. Good. You have fire. You'll need it to survive in this family. She stood, signaling the meeting was over. Choose wisely, Naomi Jenkins. Or don't choose at all. But don't choose out of obligation. Choose because you genuinely want one of them. Anything else is cruelty. That afternoon, Naomi retreated to her room, overwhelmed. She'd been in Seoul less than 2 days and already everything was more complicated than she'd imagined. 2 beautiful, dangerous men wanted her. Actually wanted her not just as a business arrangement. And somewhere deep inside, beneath the fear and uncertainty, she felt something stirring. Interest, attraction, maybe even the beginning of something more. A knock interrupted her thoughts. Come in. Min-jun entered carrying a tray with lunch. You missed the meal. I thought you might be hungry. Thank you. Naomi took the tray, surprised by the gesture. That was thoughtful. Don't sound so shocked. I'm capable of thoughtfulness. He sat in the chair by the window, maintaining distance. My grandmother can be intense. I apologize if she upset you. She didn't upset me. She was honest. I appreciate that. Naomi picked at the food. Can I ask you something? Anything. Why are you competing with your brother for me? Why not just let him have me if he wants me? Min-jun's expression darkened. Because I want you too. The moment I saw your file, read about what you were doing for your mother, I knew I wanted you. Then I saw your photo and it became more than want. It became need. That doesn't make sense. You don't know me. I know enough. He leaned forward, intensity radiating from him. I know you're loyal beyond reason. I know you're brave enough to walk into the unknown to save someone you love. I know you're smart enough to see through bullshit and call it what it is. That's the kind of woman I want beside me. Beside you? Or under your control? Min-jun's eyes flashed. I don't want to control you, Naomi. I want to possess you. There's a difference. Control is about power. Possession is about belonging. I want you to belong with me, to me completely. And I want to belong to you the same way. The raw honesty in his voice stole Naomi's breath. That's intense. I'm an intense person. I don't do anything halfway. If you choose me, you'll get all of me. The good, the bad, the dangerous. But you'll never doubt my commitment. You'll never doubt that you're mine and I'm yours. And if I choose Min-ho? Something painful flickered across Min-jun's face. Then I'll have to find a way to live with that. But I'll fight like hell to make sure it doesn't come to that. He stood, walked to the door, then paused. One more thing. Min-ho will court you with charm and sweetness. He'll be easy to like, easy to fall for. I'm not easy. I'm difficult and demanding and probably too intense for most people. But what I'm offering is real, Naomi. Not a fantasy. Real. He left, and Naomi sat in the silence wondering what she'd gotten herself into. That evening, Min-ho knocked on her door with an invitation. There's a charity gala tonight. Would you accompany me? I promise I'll be a perfect gentleman. Naomi considered refusing, but staying in her room felt like hiding. All right, but I don't have anything to wear to a gala. Min-ho grinned. Check your closet. She found a stunning gown in deep emerald green, designer heels, and jewelry that probably cost more than her entire education. When she emerged dressed and ready, Min-ho's expression made her feel beautiful in a way she'd never experienced. You're breathtaking, he said simply. The gala was at a 5-star hotel, filled with Korea's elite. Min-ho kept his hand on her lower back, guiding her through crowds, introducing her with pride. This is Naomi Jenkins. She's extraordinary. They danced, and Min-ho was an excellent dancer, leading her with confidence but not dominance. You're good at this, Naomi said. I'm good at a lot of things. He smiled. But what I want to be good at is making you happy. Tell me what makes you happy, Naomi. I don't know anymore. My whole life was about getting through school, taking care of my mom, surviving. I never really thought about happiness. Then let me show you what it could look like. Min-ho pulled her closer as they danced. Happiness could be mornings in the garden, conversations that matter, someone who sees you for who you really are and loves all of it. You're good with words. I'm good with the truth. And the truth is, I'm falling for you, Naomi. Fast and hard. I know it's soon. I know it's crazy, but I can't help it. Before Naomi could respond, she saw Min-jun across the ballroom. He stood alone, not participating in the festivities, just watching her with an intensity that made her skin prickle with awareness. He came, Min-ho said, following her gaze. He said he wouldn't, but he came anyway. Why? Because he can't stand the thought of me having you all to myself for an evening. Min-ho's tone was fond despite the competition. We've always been like this, competitive but never cruel to each other. You're testing that bond. Min-jun approached, cutting through the crowd with purpose. May I cut in? Min-ho looked at Naomi. It's your choice. She should have said no. Should have stayed with Min-ho, who was safe and easy. Instead, she found herself nodding. Min-jun pulled her into his arms and the difference was immediate. Where Min-ho had been gentle, Min-jun was commanding. Where Min-ho had kept respectful distance, Min-jun held her close enough that she could feel every hard plane of his body. You look beautiful tonight, he said, his voice low. Dangerously beautiful. Dangerous how? Dangerous because looking at you in that dress, knowing my brother's hands were on you all evening, makes me want to throw you over my shoulder and carry you away from here. Very caveman. Very inappropriate. Despite herself, Naomi laughed. You can't just steal me. Can't I? His hand tightened on her waist. You're not bound to either of us yet. You're free to choose. And I'm free to do everything in my power to make you choose me. Min-ho says he's falling for me. Min-jun's jaw tightened. I'm sure he is. My brother falls easily. It's one of his weaknesses. And you? Are you falling for me? He looked at her with those intense dark eyes. I don't fall, Naomi. I claim. I possess. I take what's mine and I hold onto it with everything I have. So no, I'm not falling for you. I've already decided you're mine. The only question is whether you'll accept that. That's arrogant. It's honest. He dipped her in the dance, holding her suspended for a moment before pulling her back up against him. I don't play games. I don't pretend to be something I'm not. This is who I am. Intense, possessive, demanding. If that scares you, choose my brother. He'll give you an easier life. And if it doesn't scare me, then choose me, and I'll give you everything. The song ended. Min-jun released her, stepping back with visible reluctance. Thank you for the dance. He walked away, leaving Naomi breathless and confused. Min-ho appeared at her elbow. Are you okay? You look flushed. I'm fine. Just, it's a lot. I know. Min-ho's voice was gentle. Two men wanting you, competing for you. It must be overwhelming. But Naomi, I need you to know something. Whatever happens, whatever you choose, I want you to be happy. Even if that means choosing Min-jun. The selflessness in his voice made Naomi's chest ache. Min-ho, I mean it. Yes, I want you to choose me. I want it more than I've wanted anything in a long time. But I want your happiness more. Don't choose out of obligation or guilt. Choose because your heart tells you to. Naomi looked at this warm, kind man and felt something crack inside her. He was offering her freedom while his brother was offering her chains. But somehow the chains felt more honest. Take me home, she said quietly. I need to think. That night, Naomi couldn't sleep. She paced her room, replaying every conversation, every touch, every look. Min-ho with his warmth and kindness. Min-jun with his intensity and raw honesty. She was supposed to have 3 months to decide. But something told her the decision wouldn't take that long. Her heart was already pulling her in a direction she didn't want to acknowledge. A soft knock made her freeze. Come in. Min-jun entered, and she wasn't even surprised. Of course he'd known she was awake. Of course he'd come. Can't sleep? He asked. Too much to think about. He walked to the window looking out at the Seoul skyline. Want to know what I'm thinking about? What? How you looked dancing with my brother. How you smiled at him. How he made you laugh. Min-jun turned to face her. It's killing me, Naomi. Watching him court you. knowing he's probably winning because he's easier to love than I am. You don't know that he's winning, aren't I? He moved closer. Be honest. When you think about the future, which one of us do you see? Naomi opened her mouth to lie, to deflect, but his intensity demanded truth. I don't know yet. You're both incredible in different ways. That's not an answer. It's the only answer I have right now. She met his gaze steadily. Min-ho makes me feel safe, warm, like everything could be okay. But you, you make me feel alive, dangerous, like standing on the edge of a cliff, terrified but exhilarated. Naomi took a shaky breath. I don't know which feeling I should choose. Min-jun closed the distance between them in 2 strides. His hand came up to cup her face, and this time he made contact. His palm was warm, calloused, gentle despite his intensity. Choose the one that makes you feel most yourself, he said quietly. Choose the one that sees you completely and wants you anyway. Choose the one you can't imagine living without. And if that's Min-ho? Pain flashed across his face. Then I'll learn to live with it. But God, Naomi, please don't make me. Please choose me. I know I'm difficult. I know I'm too much. But I swear I'll spend every day showing you that you made the right choice. He was so close she could feel his breath on her lips. One of them just needed to move to close the final distance and everything would change. Naomi pulled back. I can't. Not yet. Not until I'm sure. Min-jun nodded, stepping away though it clearly cost him. Then I'll wait. But I won't make it easy for my brother. This is a competition, and I play to win. If you're enjoying this love triangle, please hit that like button and subscribe. Drop a comment. Team Min-jun or Team Min-ho? Who do you think Naomi should choose? The next 2 weeks became a carefully choreographed dance of courtship. Min-ho took her to art galleries and poetry readings, cooked her breakfast, and left little notes that made her smile. He was attentive without being overwhelming, present without being suffocating. Min-jun took a different approach. He challenged her intellectually, engaging her in debates about philosophy and business. He taught her self-defense, his hands correcting her stance in ways that made her hyper-aware of every point of contact. He was intense, demanding, pushing her to be better, stronger, more. And Naomi found herself drawn to both of them in different ways. With Min-ho, she laughed easily, felt cherished, could imagine a comfortable life full of warmth and partnership. With Min-jun, she felt electric, alive, like every moment mattered because it might be their last. The grandmother watched it all with shrewd eyes, saying nothing but seeing everything. One afternoon, Naomi found herself in the garden with Min-ho, lying on a blanket under cherry trees. He read poetry aloud in Korean, translating for her, his voice soothing. This one is about impossible love, he said. About wanting someone you can never fully have. Sounds tragic. All the best love stories are tragic. Min-ho set the book aside, turning to face her. Naomi, I need to tell you something. I'm in love with you. Completely, impossibly in love with you. I know it's only been 2 weeks, but I can't help it. You've become essential to me. Naomi's breath caught. Min-ho, you don't have to say anything back. I just needed you to know. When you make your choice, I want you to know that choosing me means choosing someone who loves you absolutely. No reservations, no conditions. Just love. He kissed her then, soft and sweet, pouring everything he felt into it. And Naomi kissed him back because he deserved that, because part of her wanted to choose the easy path, the safe path, the path that led to uncomplicated happiness. When they broke apart, Min-ho smiled sadly. But you're going to choose him, aren't you? I haven't decided anything. Your heart has. I can see it in your eyes when you look at him. You're drawn to him in ways you're not drawn to me. And that's okay, Naomi. It hurts, but it's okay. I don't want to hurt you. I know. That's one of the things I love about you. Min-ho stood, offering his hand to help her up. But love isn't always enough, is it? Sometimes the heart wants what it wants, logic and kindness be damned. That evening, Naomi found Min-jun in a private gym, working out with controlled violence. He didn't stop when she entered, just kept punishing the heavy bag like it had personally offended him. He kissed you, Min-jun said flatly. I can see it on your face. Yes. Did you kiss him back? Yes. Min-jun hit the bag so hard it swung violently. And? Are you choosing him? I don't know. He spun to face her, sweat making his skin gleam. What don't you know? The simple Naomi. Who do you want? Who makes you feel the most alive? Who can't you imagine your life without? You. The word burst out of her before she could stop it. You, okay? Every time I try to imagine choosing Min-ho, choosing the safe option, choosing easy love and comfortable happiness, something inside me rebels. Because as much as I care about him, as much as I could maybe love him someday, it's you I think about at 3 in the morning. It's you who makes my heart race. It's you I want even though you're difficult and demanding and probably going to drive me crazy. Min-jun stood frozen, chest heaving. Say that again. I can't stop thinking about you. I've tried. God knows I've tried because Min-ho is the smart choice. He's kind and gentle and would make my life easy. But my heart doesn't want easy. It wants you. He crossed the space between them in seconds, pulling her against him. Do you have any idea how long I've waited to hear you say that? 2 weeks. My whole life. His hands framed her face. I've never wanted anything the way I want you, Naomi. Never loved anything the way I already love you. You're everything. And I swear if you choose me, I'll spend every day proving that you made the right choice. I haven't chosen yet. I need to talk to Min-ho first. He deserves that. Min-jun's jaw tightened. You're right. He does. But after you talk to him, you're mine. Completely mine. Understood. Yes. He kissed her then, and it was nothing like Min-ho's gentle kiss. This was claiming, possessing, consuming. This was Min-jun showing her exactly what choosing him meant. And Naomi kissed him back with equal fervor, finally admitting to herself what her heart had known all along. She was choosing Min-jun, the difficult path, the intense love, the dangerous one, and she couldn't wait. Finding Min-ho wasn't difficult. He was in the music room, playing piano with a melancholy that filled the space like smoke. He knew. Of course he knew. He'd probably known from the moment she'd kissed him back in the garden. He didn't stop playing when she entered, just kept coaxing heartbreaking notes from the instrument. Naomi stood in the doorway, her heart aching for what she was about to do. You don't have to say it, Min-ho said quietly, his hands finally stilling on the keys. I already know. Min-ho, I'm sorry. I never wanted to hurt you. He turned to face her, and the pain in his eyes nearly broke her. I know that too. You've been nothing but honest with both of us from the start. This isn't your fault, Naomi. You can't control who your heart chooses. I do care about you. So much. You're incredible, and any woman would be lucky. Don't. Min-ho stood, his usual warmth replaced by something harder. Don't try to soften this with platitudes. I'm losing the woman I love to my brother. There's no way to make that hurt less. Naomi's eyes filled with tears. I wish I could split myself in two. Give you both what you want. But you can't. And even if you could, it wouldn't be enough. Because what I want is all of you. Your whole heart. And that belongs to Min-jun. Min-ho walked to the window, his back to her. Does he know? That you're choosing him? He knows. Of course he does. Min-jun always gets what he wants. There was no bitterness in Min-ho's voice, just resignation. Is he good to you? Does he make you happy? He makes me feel alive. That's not the same as happy. Maybe it's better. Naomi moved closer, wanting him to look at her. Min-ho, please. I need to know you'll be okay. He finally turned, and his smile was devastating in its sadness. I'll be okay eventually. Right now, I need you to leave. I need to process this alone. Min-ho. Please, Naomi. Please just go. I'll congratulate you both tomorrow. Tonight. Let me grieve. She left, tears streaming down her face. Choosing Min-jun was right. She knew it was right. But God. It hurt to break Min-ho's heart. Min-jun found her in the hallway outside her room, clearly waiting. He took one look at her tear-stained face and pulled her into his arms. You told him? Yes. Naomi buried her face in his chest. He's devastated. I know. He's my brother. I can feel his pain. Min-jun's arms tightened around her. But he'll heal. Min-ho is resilient. And he'll find someone who loves him the way he deserves to be loved. I feel terrible. You shouldn't. You made a choice. It takes courage to choose what you want rather than what's easier. He pulled back to look at her face, wiping away her tears with his thumbs. Are you sure, Naomi? Really sure? Because once we do this, once you're officially mine, I won't let you go. Ever. I'm sure. Then marry me. Tomorrow. Let's not wait. Naomi's eyes widened. Tomorrow? But I thought we had 3 months. We don't need 3 months. You've chosen. I've won. Why wait? His intensity was back, burning bright. Marry me tomorrow, Naomi. Become mine completely. That's so fast. Too fast. He searched her face. If you need more time. No. The word surprised her, but it felt right. No, tomorrow is perfect. Let's do it. Min-jun kissed her fiercely, triumphantly. You're mine now. No take-backs. No take-backs. She agreed and meant it. The wedding preparations happened in a whirlwind. The grandmother arranged everything with the efficiency of a general planning a military campaign. Traditional Korean ceremony, intimate guest list, everything perfect down to the smallest detail. Min-ho made himself scarce, but Naomi caught glimpses of him around the compound. He looked hollow, going through the motions of daily life without really being present. It broke her heart all over again. The night before the wedding, the grandmother summoned Naomi to her private quarters. Tomorrow you become a Kong, the old woman said without preamble. Do you understand what that means? I'm marrying Min-jun. You're entering a world of danger and violence and moral complexity. You're becoming part of a criminal empire whether you like it or not. Are you prepared for that? Naomi met her gaze steadily. I walked into this world to save my mother. I'm staying in it because I love Min-jun. So yes, I'm prepared. Love. The grandmother said the word like it was foreign. Love makes us do foolish things, but it also makes us strong. Use that love wisely, child. My grandson needs someone who can handle his intensity. Channel it. Keep him from consuming himself. I can do that. Can you? Because Min-jun doesn't love lightly. When he loves absolutely. Obsessively. You'll be his entire world. Naomi. That's a heavy burden to carry. I know. I accept it. The grandmother nodded approvingly. Then you're ready. Welcome to the family. The wedding day dawned clear and beautiful. Naomi dressed in a traditional hanbok, white silk embroidered with delicate patterns. When she saw herself in the mirror, she barely recognized the woman staring back. She looked like she belonged in this world of wealth and danger. Min-jun waited for her at the altar in the compound's private garden. Impossibly handsome in traditional Korean attire. But it was the look in his eyes when he saw her that made her knees weak. Pure possession. Absolute devotion. Terrifying love. The grandmother officiated. Her words in Korean translated by an attendant. Love is not weakness. Love is the greatest strength. But love without wisdom is destruction. Choose wisdom as well as passion. Choose balance as well as intensity. When Min-jun slid the ring onto her finger, his hand trembled slightly. You're mine now, he whispered. Forever mine. Forever yours, she agreed. The kiss sealed it. Not gentle, not restrained, but claiming. This was Min-jun showing everyone present exactly who Naomi belonged to now. The reception was small, mostly family and close business associates. Naomi noticed Min-ho at the edge of the gathering, maintaining distance but present. Their eyes met across the room, and he raised his glass in a silent toast. She saw acceptance there, and something that might eventually become peace. Later, as the evening wound down, Min-ho approached them. His smile was strained but genuine. Congratulations, he said, shaking his brother's hand. Take care of her. Always, Min-jun replied. Min-ho turned to Naomi. Be happy. That's all I ever wanted for you. Min-ho. It's okay. I mean it. He squeezed her hand briefly. I'm taking some time away. Travel, maybe. Give us all space to adjust. But I'll be back. And when I am, I hope we can be friends. I'd like that, Naomi said softly. He left, and Naomi felt Min-jun's arm tighten around her waist. He'll be okay. He's stronger than he thinks. I hope so. Don't. Min-jun turned her to face him. Don't spend our wedding night thinking about my brother. Tonight is about us. Only us. He was right. Min-ho had made his peace. Now it was time for her to fully embrace the choice she'd made. Min-jun led her to their shared quarters, a massive suite she'd never seen before. It was clearly designed for them, blending masculine and feminine elements, dark wood and soft silk, strength and beauty combined. This is ours now, Min-jun said, closing the door behind them. Our space. Our sanctuary. Naomi's pulse raced as he approached her with predatory grace. I'm nervous, she admitted. Good. You should be. His hands came up to frame her face. I'm going to worship you tonight, Naomi. Learn every inch of you. Make you mine in every possible way. And when the sun rises, you'll have no doubt who you belong to. I already know who I belong to. Then let me remind you, over and over again. He kissed her, and it was fire and possession and promise all at once. The night was everything Min-jun had promised. Intense, passionate, overwhelming. He was demanding but attentive, taking her to heights she'd never imagined while making sure she felt cherished, desired, loved. By the time dawn broke, Naomi was exhausted and exhilarated and completely, utterly his. I love you, she whispered against his chest as they lay tangled together. I know. I've known since that day in the gym when you admitted you couldn't stop thinking about me. Min-jun's hand stroked her hair possessively. But hearing you say it never gets old. I love you, she repeated, testing the words, finding them perfect. I love you more than anything in this world, Min-jun said seriously. More than this organization, more than my own life. You're everything to me now, Naomi. My wife, my heart, my obsession. That last part should probably concern me. Probably, but it won't change anything. I told you what you were getting when you chose me. Intensity, obsession, absolute devotion. You're stuck with all of it now. I can live with that. Good, because I'm never letting you go. The first weeks of marriage were an adjustment. Naomi learned the rhythms of life as Min-jun's wife, which included attending functions as the face of legitimacy for their operations. She met business associates who were actually criminal contacts, smiled through dinners that were really negotiations, and played the role of devoted wife while learning exactly what her husband's empire entailed. Min-jun was attentive to the point of obsession, always knowing where she was, who she was with, what she was doing. It should have felt suffocating, but instead it made her feel cherished. Claimed. Her mother called weekly, and those conversations became easier. The lies about her whirlwind romance with Min-jun felt less like lies and more like simplified truth. She was happy. She was loved. The circumstances that brought her here didn't matter anymore. Then Min-ho came back. 3 months after the wedding, he returned from his travels looking tanned and more at peace. The pain in his eyes had faded to a dull ache that only showed when he thought no one was looking. Welcome back, Naomi said when she found him in the garden. How was Europe? Beautiful, lonely, necessary. Min-ho smiled, and it was almost genuine. You look happy. I am. Good. That's what matters. He studied her. He's treating you well? Not being too intense. He's being exactly himself. And I love him for it. I'm glad. Min-ho started walking, and Naomi fell into step beside him. I need to tell you something. I've decided to step back from active involvement in the organization. Let Min-jun run things while I focus on our legitimate business interests. It's better this way. Because of me? Because seeing you together every day, watching him have what I wanted, it's harder than I expected. I thought I'd made peace with it. But he trailed off, pain flickering across his features. I need distance. Not forever. Just for now. Min-ho, I'm so sorry. Stop apologizing. You chose your heart. I respect that. I just need to let mine heal. He stopped walking, turning to face her. Can I ask you something? Do you ever wonder what would have happened if you'd chosen me instead? Naomi considered lying, sparing his feelings. But Min-ho deserved honesty. Sometimes, late at night when I can't sleep, I wonder if my life would be easier, simpler. But then I look at Min-jun, and I know I made the right choice. Not because you're not wonderful, but because my heart chose him before my brain even caught up. That's what I needed to hear. That it was real, not just intensity mistaken for love. Min-ho nodded slowly. I'll be okay, Naomi. Eventually. And when I am, I hope we can really be friends. I'd like that. He left, and Naomi felt the weight of guilt settle on her shoulders again. She'd broken his heart, and there was no way to fix it. All she could do was live her life with Min-jun and hope that someday Min-ho found someone who loved him the way he deserved. Min-jun found her in the garden an hour later. He took one look at her face and knew. Min-ho came back. Yes, he's stepping back from the organization. Says it's too hard being around us. Probably true. Min-jun pulled her against him. Does it bother you? That you hurt him? Of course it bothers me. I care about him. Just not the way I care about you. But not enough to regret choosing me? Never. She looked up at him. You're my choice, Min-jun. Now and always. I just wish choosing you didn't mean breaking him. It was always going to be this way. One brother happy, one heartbroken. That's the price of competition. Min-jun's arms tightened around her. He'll heal. He'll find someone else. And someday, maybe we can all be family again without the weight of what could have been. You really believe that? I have to, because the alternative is losing my brother forever, and that's not acceptable. Family is everything, Naomi, even when family is complicated. The next few months brought stability. Min-ho maintained distance but remained civil when their paths crossed at family functions. Min-jun threw himself into expanding the organization's legitimate operations, using Naomi's business acumen to identify opportunities. And Naomi found herself settling into her role as Mrs. Kong, powerful in her own right, respected and feared in equal measure. Her mother visited for 2 weeks, and watching her healthy and happy made every sacrifice worth it. Mrs. Jenkins loved Min-jun, charmed by his devotion to her daughter, though she worried about the intensity of their relationship. He looks at you like you're the only person in the world, her mother said one afternoon. It's beautiful and a little terrifying. That's Min-jun in a nutshell, Naomi agreed. Beautiful and terrifying. But you're happy? I've never been happier. That was the truth. Despite the complications, despite the criminal world she'd married into, despite the broken heart she'd left in her wake, Naomi was happy. She'd found something rare and precious with Min-jun. Love that was absolute, intense, all-consuming, and she'd fight to keep it. But peace never lasts long in the underworld. The threat came via a message delivered to the compound. A rival organization, the Choi family, had been watching the Kangs. They'd learned about Naomi, about her mother, about the circumstances that brought her to Seoul. And they saw weakness to exploit. They're threatening to hurt your mother unless we give them territory, Min-jun said, his voice deadly calm as they sat in the war room with his advisors. They think you're my weakness. I am your weakness, Naomi said quietly. No. Min-jun's eyes were steel. You're my strength. They're going to learn the difference. The grandmother spoke up from the head of the table. This is escalation. If we respond with violence, it starts a war. But if we don't respond, we look weak. We need strategy, not just force. What if I go to them? Naomi said suddenly. Everyone turned to stare. They want leverage over Min-jun. What if I give them what they want? Or at least make them think I am? Absolutely not, Min-jun said immediately. You're not walking into danger for this organization. I'm walking into danger for my mother. For you. For us. Naomi met his gaze steadily. You've taught me about strategy, about thinking several moves ahead. Let me be bait. Let them think they've won. Then we turn it on them. It's too dangerous. Everything about this life is dangerous. At least this way I'm choosing the danger instead of just reacting to it. She turned to the grandmother. What do you think? The old woman considered carefully. It's risky, but it could work if planned properly. The girl has courage. Let's use it. Grandmother, Min-jun started. She's offering a way out that doesn't involve bloodshed. At least not initially. I say we explore it. The grandmother looked at Naomi with something like approval. You're more calm than I expected, child. Very well. We'll plan this carefully. But you follow every instruction exactly. Understood. Understood. Min-jun looked furious, but he knew better than to argue with his grandmother. Later, in their private quarters, he paced like a caged tiger. I don't like this. Putting you in danger makes me insane. I know, but it's the best option we have. Naomi caught his arm, stopping his pacing. I can do this, Min-jun. Trust me. I do trust you. It's them I don't trust. He pulled her against him roughly. If anything happens to you, if they so much as touch a hair on your head, I'll burn their world down. Every last piece of it. I know you will. That's why I'm not afraid. You should be afraid. I'm terrified. Then we're terrified together. She kissed him, pouring reassurance into it. I'm not going anywhere. I'm coming back to you. I promise. The plan was set for 3 days later. Naomi would meet with the Choi family leadership, pretending to be willing to provide information in exchange for her mother's safety. She'd be wired, though finely enough that a casual search wouldn't find it. Min-jun and his team would be positioned nearby, ready to intervene if things went wrong. The night before, Min-jun barely let her out of his sight. He made love to her with desperate intensity, memorizing every inch of her skin, worshipping her body like it might be the last time. When they finally lay exhausted in each other's arms, his voice was raw. I can't lose you. You're everything. If something happens tomorrow, nothing will happen. I'll be careful. I'll follow the plan. And I'll come back to you. Naomi cupped his face, making him look at her. I love you, Min-jun, with everything I am. That's not changing tomorrow or ever. I love you more than life. Remember that. Whatever happens tomorrow, remember that you're loved absolutely. I'll remember. The meeting was set for neutral territory, an upscale restaurant that was closed for a private event. Naomi arrived dressed elegantly, projecting confidence she only partly felt. The wire hidden in her jewelry felt like it was burning against her skin. The Choi family representatives were 3 men, all radiating danger. The leader, a man in his 50s with cold eyes, gestured for her to sit. Mrs. Kong, thank you for coming. I didn't have much choice, Naomi said, letting her voice shake slightly. You threatened my mother. We simply pointed out vulnerabilities. Your mother is in Los Angeles, yes? So far from your husband's protection. Accidents happen. Rage flared in Naomi's chest, but she suppressed it. What do you want? Information, territory, compliance. Choose what you're willing to trade for your mother's safety. Naomi pretended to consider. If I give you information about the Kong operations, my mother stays safe? Absolutely. We're not monsters, Mrs. Kong. We're businessmen. Help us, and we have no reason to touch your family. It was a lie. Naomi could see it in his eyes. They'd take what they wanted and eliminate witnesses. That was how this world worked. I need guarantees, she said. How do I know you'll keep your word? You don't. You take a leap of faith. The leader leaned forward. Or you refuse and we demonstrate exactly how vulnerable your loved ones are. The choice is yours. Before Naomi could respond, the door burst open. But it wasn't Min-jun and his team. It was Min-ho, flanked by security she didn't recognize. This meeting is over, Min-ho said coldly. Naomi, come with me. The Choi leader stood. Who the hell are you? I'm the brother who's tired of watching from the sidelines. Min-ho's expression was harder than Naomi had ever seen. You made a mistake targeting her. She might have married Min-jun, but she's still family. Kong family. and we protect our own. Everything happened fast after that. The Choi men reached for weapons. Min-ho's security moved to intercept. Naomi found herself grabbed and pulled toward the exit as chaos erupted behind her. They reached a waiting car where Min-jun stood, his face a mask of fury and relief. He pulled Naomi into his arms, checking her for injuries even as he glared at his brother. "What the hell were you thinking?" Min-jun demanded of Min-ho. "We had a plan. Your plan put her in danger. I couldn't stand by and watch that happen." Min-ho met his brother's gaze steadily. "I know she chose you. I know she loves you. But I still care about her too much to let her risk her life, even for our family. You could have compromised the entire operation. But I didn't. I ended it." The Choi family now knows that Naomi has protection from multiple sources. That targeting her means war with all of us. Min-ho looked at Naomi. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine. Thanks to you." Naomi was shaking, adrenaline flooding her system. But Min-jun's right. That was reckless. Maybe, but necessary. Min-ho turned back to his brother. "We need to talk, all three of us, about how this family functions going forward." Back at the compound, the three of them sat in the private study while the grandmother dealt with the fallout of the interrupted meeting. Tension crackled in the air. "I can't do this," Min-ho said finally. "I can't pretend I don't care about Naomi just because she married you instead of me. She's family now, Min-jun. And family means I protect her, even if it complicates things between us." "I don't want you protecting my wife," Min-jun said through gritted teeth. "That's my job. Your wife, yes, but also my family. Do you see the problem? We're all bound together now in ways that are complicated and messy and probably impossible to navigate cleanly." Naomi spoke up. "Then we don't navigate it cleanly. We navigate it honestly. Min-ho, I appreciate that you still care enough to protect me. Min-jun, I understand why that threatens you. But we have to find a way to coexist without destroying each other." "How?" Min-jun demanded. "How do I accept my brother still having feelings for my wife?" "The same way I have to accept you've won," Min-ho said quietly. "By choosing family over pride. By recognizing that love doesn't just disappear because it's inconvenient. I'll always care about Naomi, but I respect your marriage. Those two things have to coexist somehow." Min-jun was silent for a long moment. Finally, he nodded. "Fine, but there are boundaries. You don't interfere with decisions I make regarding Naomi's safety. You don't undermine my authority. And you sure as hell don't storm into dangerous situations without coordinating with me first." "Agreed. As long as you recognize that Naomi isn't property to be controlled. She's a person with agency who gets a say in her own safety." "I know that." "Do you? Because from where I'm standing, your obsession with protecting her sometimes looks a lot like control." Min-jun's eyes flashed dangerously. "Be very careful what you're implying about my marriage." "I'm not implying anything. I'm stating facts. You love her. I get it. I love her too. But love that suffocates isn't love, Min-jun. It's possession." "Stop." Naomi stood, forcing both men to look at her. "Both of you just stop. Min-jun, Min-ho has a point. Sometimes your intensity crosses into control. I need you to trust me to make my own decisions, even dangerous ones. And Min-ho, you need to respect that I chose Min-jun. That means accepting his right to be protective, even when it seems excessive." Both brothers looked chastened. The tension eased slightly. "Can we agree on something?" Naomi continued. "We're all family. That's complicated and messy and probably always will be. But we make it work because the alternative is destroying this family. And none of us wants that." "Agreed," Min-ho said. "Agreed," Min-jun echoed reluctantly. The grandmother appeared in the doorway. "Are you three finished with your drama? Because we have actual business to handle. The Choi family needs a response to today's events." They filed into the war room, putting aside personal complications to deal with the immediate crisis. And somehow, working together, they found a solution. Min-jun's strategic mind, Min-ho's diplomatic skills, and Naomi's outside perspective combined to create a plan that would neutralize the Choi threat without starting a war. Over the following weeks, the plan executed flawlessly. The Choi family backed down, recognizing that the Kangs were more united and powerful than they'd assumed. Naomi's mother received additional security that she didn't even know about, and slowly, carefully, the three of them learned to coexist in their complicated family dynamic. Min-ho maintained respectful distance but remained part of their lives. He dated other women, slowly moving on while never quite letting go of what might have been. Min-jun learned to trust his brother's presence without seeing it as a threat. And Naomi navigated between them, loving her husband absolutely, while appreciating her brother-in-law's continued friendship. It wasn't perfect. There were moments of tension, flashes of old jealousy, complications that seemed impossible to resolve. But they made it work because family mattered more than pride. 6 months after the wedding, Naomi discovered she was pregnant. Min-jun's reaction was everything she could have hoped for. Joy, terror, overwhelming love all at once. "I'm going to be a father," he whispered against her stomach. "Our child. A piece of both of us. Are you happy?" Naomi asked, running her fingers through his hair. "I've never been happier." Terrified, but happy. He looked up at her. "You've given me everything, Naomi. Love, purpose, now a family. How did I get this lucky?" "We both got lucky. Against all odds, against all reason, we found each other." When they announced the pregnancy to the family, Min-ho's smile was genuine. "Congratulations, both of you. You'll be amazing parents." "Thank you," Naomi said, hugging him carefully, "for accepting this, for being here, for being family despite everything." "Always family," Min-ho said quietly. "That's never changing." The grandmother hosted a celebration that night, and watching the family gathered together, Naomi marveled at the journey that had brought her here. She'd started as a desperate daughter willing to sacrifice everything. She'd become a woman who chose her own path, claimed her own power, built her own family. Min-jun pulled her close as the party continued around them. "What are you thinking about?" "About how you told me I'd have both of you that first night, and how terrified I was. How wrong I was about everything." "Wrong how?" "I thought this would be a prison, that I'd be trapped in a loveless arrangement, paying off a debt with my life. Instead, I found love. Real, intense, all-consuming love. I found family. I found myself. No regrets." Naomi looked around at the family she'd built, at the life she'd claimed, at the future growing inside her. "None. You asked me to choose between two impossible options. I chose you, and it was the best decision I ever made." Min-jun kissed her, not caring who was watching, claiming her in front of everyone as he always did. "You're mine," he murmured against her lips. "Forever mine. Forever yours," she agreed. "And you're forever mine too. That's how this works. Mutual possession, mutual obsession, mutual love. I can live with that. So can I." Across the room, Min-ho raised his glass in a silent toast. His eyes held acceptance and a peace that had been hard-won. Naomi returned the gesture, grateful for his grace, his continued presence in their lives. The future stretched ahead, uncertain and probably dangerous. They were a criminal family. After all, operating in the shadows of Seoul's underworld, there would be threats, complications, challenges that would test them all. But they would face it together, as family, as love, as three people bound by choices made and hearts claimed and futures intertwined. Naomi placed her hand on her stomach, feeling the promise of new life. She'd come to Seoul to save her mother. She'd ended up saving herself. And somewhere along the way, she'd found something rare and precious. Love that was absolute. Family that was complicated but unbreakable. A place in the world that was entirely her own. Min-jun's hand covered hers on her stomach. "I love you. I love you too. Always." And that was enough. More than enough. It was everything. Thank you so much for watching this emotional journey. If Naomi and Min-jun's story touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe for more passionate love stories. Drop a comment. Do you think Min-ho will find his own happy ending? What should happen in part 2? Don't forget to check out our other stories in the playlist below. Until next time, remember, the heart wants what it wants, and sometimes the most intense love is the truest love.